Hey, what's up? It's Kevin Rogers. Welcome to Copy Chief Radio, brought to you by copychief.com. See how that works? Let's get into it.
Our next speaker has become such a great friend, someone I learn so much from all the time. He is one of the realest cats, one of the many things I admire about him. And I wanted specifically Todd to be here to represent the business owners and the marketers who I think most of us are driven by becoming great copywriters and greater at writing copy. But what do we do with it all? Where does it all go? How do we filter it and make sure that it's doing its job in our funnel? So Todd, to me, is the best person I know at taking all this high-level thinking and making it really tangible and measuring those results. So please put your hands together and welcome Todd Brown.
All right, so I have been tasked, like Kevin said, with showing you how to take high-level copy principles and use them to engineer world-class funnels. And we're gonna get into the weeds. I normally don't get this deep in the weeds with actionable stuff, but I'm gonna show you 8 different sequences that power all of our world-class funnels. Now, really quick, just out of curiosity, how many of you were in the room yesterday for Joe Schriefer's presentation? With a show of hands, how many of you were in the room? Right, so Joe told me a couple of weeks ago that he was gonna have a Trump impersonator come up. And so I thought to myself, I want my own impersonator to come up. And I said, you know what? I want to freak everybody out. I want to bring up a Joe Schriefer impersonator. That would have freaked everybody out, right? So I wrote a Craigslist ad, and the Craigslist ad said, I did this in my incognito browser, just in case. Looking for short, hairless, man with glasses, super fit. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I didn't write super fit. No, but I actually didn't publish it. I was really concerned that Joe might respond, and then our whole friendship would be really awkward after that moment. But Joe is the best. I love this guy. Those of you that have the opportunity to work with him, that so was not worth applauding for. But no, the funny thing was, so the other night we were at the speakers dinner. And by the way, give it up for Kevin for taking such good care of all the speakers. Funny thing, right? You guys just applauded for a dinner that you weren't even invited to. Persuasion! You gotta love it. But the other night at dinner, so we were talking about copy and copywriters, and Joe was talking to me about one of his copywriters that have a 13 size shoe or something. And yeah, Joe and I, we have this bond, right? We're in the sub 5'6", 5'6.5" category. And I said to Joe, man, if I had a 13 size shoe, I would lead with that in every conversation. So those of you that I met for the first time, right, you would know every promotion that I personally wrote because that size shoe would be sprinkled throughout every bit of credibility copy that I write. But that's hashtag short man's issues, just for those of you, if you want to do a search on that later. But all kidding aside, all enough shenanigans. So I really want to talk to you about something that's near and dear to my heart. And I'm really, like Kevin said, I'm going to talk to 2 different groups at the same time, and I'm going to do the best that I can to bridge this gap for you. I'm going to talk to the entrepreneurs, the business owners in the room that really want to understand how to take what it is that you're exposed to in Copy Chief and how to translate it into marketing campaigns that bring you new customers day in and day out without fail. I'm also going to talk to the copywriters in the room. If you've got your own business, you have an agency, this is all appropriate for you in terms of growing your business. And even if you're working for a client, if you're working for somebody like Agora Financial, this is great stuff to bring to the table to help you make more money. Now, what I'm talking about today in the 40 minutes that I have left, I'm talking about creating a single game-changing marketing campaign. I'm talking about you creating a marketing campaign that can grow the back of a business for months and months and months. right? Even though I'm supposed to be the funnel guy, the guy that other experts come to with their own funnels, I grew the back of my company off of a single customer acquisition funnel for 18 months that allowed us to generate new customers day in and day out. One funnel, one marketing funnel done correctly can change everything for you, right? Just ask Mike Palmer over at Stansberry Research, or just ask Joe ask Mike Palmer. No, I'm kidding. Ask Joe everything. I give Joe credit for everything, even stuff he didn't teach me. And the thing is this, that you've got to understand, that I want you to grasp, and we're going to get in the weeds and we're going to go quick, and I'm going to leave you with a bunch of actionable stuff. But the thing that I want you to understand is this, that the game has changed with funnels. Every decent marketer today, every decent direct response company today is using funnels, whatever we want to kind of put under that category. The days of having an upsell, a bump offer, automated sequences, segmentation, that's commonplace today. Right? That's commonplace today. If you want extraordinary results, you can't do what the ordinary do. Right? You can't do what the ordinary is doing. You can't do what's common and expect to get extraordinary results. You do what the ordinary does, you get what the ordinary gets, and that's not why you are here. Now, the thing to understand is this, that I'm talking about you approaching this campaign, approaching your next marketing campaign as if it was the only campaign that you would have in your business. That's the way we approach every campaign. We go the distance with every campaign. We don't cut corners. Again, this is about you having a marketing campaign that you can use to build the back of your company for months and months and months. Now, what I'm going to show you, I'm going to show you a lot. Right? I'm going to show you a lot, and some of you may sit here and say, wow, that's a lot. That seems like a lot of work. And you know what? It is. And you should be happy about that, because the average isn't willing to do it. And that's what's going to separate you from them. The fact that there's work to be put in, the fact that this is going to take time, energy, effort, and resources, good. You should celebrate that, because that's going to be a differentiator for you in your business. Now, the last thing that I'm going to say before we jump in is this, that you're going to see stuff and you're going to wonder from a tech perspective, how is it done? What's the technology? And I'd be more than happy. I'll tell you some of the tech that we use for some of these different things. I'll even be around after if you've got specific questions. But here's the thing, tech and the technology behind how you execute these things should never drive marketing. Tech should never drive marketing. Marketing should drive tech. You don't adapt your marketing to what it is that your current technology can do. It drives me crazy when I hear a student or a client or somebody that I'm consulting with say, well, we use Aweber or something like that, and we can't do X. I'm like, well, then stop using Aweber. You're leaving money on the table if you don't adapt your technology to suit your marketing. Now, with that being said, the topic is how to use the highest level copy principles, right, to engineer, to create world-class marketing funnels. So I want to start by just very quickly covering the stuff that is really the important stuff, the key stuff, the stuff that is the foundation of every marketing campaign that you should create. Most of you that are in Copy Chief, how many of you have heard at least one interview that I've done with Kevin? Okay, so a bunch of you. You've heard me explain this before. You know, Kevin asked me to get into the tactical stuff, and this is the stuff that I really love because this is where the money is made. But I just want to make sure that everybody in the room understands these points very quickly before we get into the 8 different sequences that you can use and implement to power your marketing campaign. So first and foremost, everybody in this room knows, and I think you heard from Joe Schrieffer yesterday, the critical importance of the big marketing idea. It was Mark Ford, buddy of mine and mentor of mine, that first exposed me many, many moons ago to the big marketing idea. At the end of the day, what Mark said to me is, when I asked Mark, I said, what's been the big difference with Agora? How come Agora has been able to grow so quickly? And I thought Mark was going to say the size of our email list or the size of our budget or our killer copy. What Mark said was very early on, we realized that we are in the idea business. That's the business that we are in. As marketers, as entrepreneurs, as copywriters, you are in the idea business. Everything that you do and create and publish and write is based on an idea. The quality of that idea will determine your results. If you've got a big, emotionally compelling, intellectually interesting idea that is new, unique, and different to your marketplace, yeah, that's how you get attention. The days of screaming a louder promise and trying to get attention, blowing up your claim, those days are long gone, especially on the internet, which is the least trusted of all mediums. Every world-class marketing campaign begins with a big marketing idea. Next is the primary promise. What's the promise? What's the transformation? We all know in here, that's what prospects want to know. Right? I'm in this current environment. I'm dealing with these current issues. What's my life going to look like after I engage with your marketing, after I engage with your product? What's the transformation? What's the result? And you know that it's got to be big, bold, audacious, true, and believable. That's what your prospects want to know. Next, for me, high-level principle. And you can see these are principles. We're not talking about, power verbs, and we're not talking about bucket brigade copy. We're talking high-level principles. The next is one of the most valuable things that I've learned over the last 15 plus years, and that is a unique mechanism, right? The unique mechanism is what is the unique piece, part, component, process, aspect, system behind your product or service that delivers the promise, right? What is the piece, part, component, process, aspect, system behind your product that delivers the results? How many of you are familiar with P90X? So P90X talked about muscle confusion. Right? Years ago, they talked about the reason why our system works to shred body fat, to build muscle, to get you in shape is because of something called muscle confusion. Muscle confusion was the unique mechanism. Muscle confusion was what gave prospects hope that maybe this time with this program, I would get results. It also allowed P90X, Beachbody, to differentiate how their product and why their product works. It's a beautiful thing when you understand the unique mechanism. This is one of the foundational points that we teach every marketer, every entrepreneur, every student. You should recognize that you are in the business of presenting and educating and marketing and selling unique mechanisms, not commodities. If you present your product as a commodity and all you're doing is you've got a product and here are all the benefits and, well, you know what? There are another dozen products out there that are doing the same thing and presenting a dozen benefits. How is yours going to deliver the result differently from all of the others? Next, of course, the lead. The first, call it 300, 400, 500 words of your copy. The job of the lead, first and foremost, choosing the right lead, right? The right lead type for your promotion. But the job of the lead is to set that emotional hook. It reminds me in a lot of ways of when I moved from New Jersey to Florida. We're on the water in Florida, and I would take my daughters out fishing. In the back, there were, we were told when I first moved there that there were these big bass in the backyard. And so I would go out and I would, do my thing and, trying to look like a hero to my daughters. And I'd be using like a lure or something. And all of a sudden I would feel like a fish bite, right? And I'd start reeling that bad boy in and the line would go, right? And the thing would, and I'm reeling it in. And all of a sudden it just goes slack. I'd reel it in and pull it out and the lure, no fish. And so I asked one of my buddies, I'm like, what's the deal, man? I've had this happen to me multiple times. And he said, because you got to set the hook first. Before you start reeling them in, you got to set the hook first so that they don't slip off. Well, the purpose of the lead, the first 300, 400, 500 words, depending on your type of campaign, the job is to set the emotional hook. Right? You have to set the emotional hook. You have to stimulate that desire for the results through your unique mechanism in that lead. Then the rest of the marketing argument, if you will, is to prove it, is to demonstrate proof and evidence of why the prospect can and will experience the results that they are looking for. And that's the next part, right? You have to have an airtight, rock-solid marketing argument. It has to be airtight in terms of logical and emotional. I think today, too many marketers focus on just the benefits, just the emotional side, right? We've all learned, marketing, selling, it's all about the benefits. It's all about what's in it for them, right? Benefits, benefits, benefits. And any decent copywriter or marketer is good at that. But what many lack today is the rational justification for why what you're saying is true. The proof, the evidence, so that I can believe it, so that I don't have buyer's remorse afterwards, so that I can accept it, right? That's real persuasion. Real persuasion is presented from Aristotle, right, is when, first and foremost, you're presenting from a position of credibility, authority, and you're tapping into the head and heart. The head and heart. Not just the heart, not just the head, both. That's what a marketing argument is like. And we approach it like a prosecutor presenting a case, right? The lead is the opening statement. The opening statement to set that hook. And then the body of the case, the presentation that the prosecutor presents is all evidence to back up what they said, right, in their opening statements, right? And the job of the prosecutor is to lead the jury to what I call the thesis, which is the one belief that the jury needs to have. The jury in this case represents our prospects, right? And that one belief is that the defendant is guilty. And only when the prosecutor has led the jury to that belief that the defendant is guilty does the prosecutor then give their closing arguments, right? The call to action. And so throughout that, you've got this logical appeal and you've got this emotional appeal. You've got evidence that all leads seamlessly to a single thesis. Everything that you do and say and show and present and demonstrate is designed to do one thing and one thing only, and that is establish that thesis. Establish that one belief in the mind of your prospects that they need to buy before you ever present the next piece, which is your offer. I call it a sin offer for superior, irresistible, and no-brainer. And I can tell you that this is one of those things that most marketers, most copywriters, most entrepreneurs give very little thought to the offer. They say, oh, you know what, here's my product, it's $49 and it's 30-day money-back guarantee, here you go. And that's what they present. Meanwhile, the offer is one of the most critical elements of every single marketing campaign. The better the offer is, the easier the job of marketing. Forget who I was talking to yesterday, but we were talking about, imagine if you had who's got a favorite car? Who's a car person in here? Shout it out. A Ferrari, so a crazy, call it a $350,000 car. You have a brand new Ferrari XY, blah, 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 $350,000 vehicle, right? And it's beautiful, it's plush, it's brand spanking new, and you're selling it for 20 grand. Well, you don't really need to be that great at marketing or sales to sell that car. When you've got a sick, over-the-top, unbelievable, no-brainer offer, makes your job of marketing much, much easier. It's where I start with every campaign we create. I sit back and I ask myself, what's gonna drive the market freaking wild? What is going to make them wanna climb over broken freaking glass to get this offer? That's where I always begin. And when you have these elements, these are what I call the high-level copy principles. This is key. What's not key is you trying to identify the perfect marketing funnel model. Right? There's lots of discussions out there about a tripwire. Should I use a tripwire? Should I use a webinar? Should I use an evergreen webinar? Should I use a hybrid webinar? Should I go with a long form sales letter, a short form sales letter? Should I send out a DVD? Right? What should the model be? The reality is this, that at the end of the day, a good marketing message can cross over multiple channels and still be effective. It's why you can see something like the End of America or one of Joe's campaigns from Agora Financial. And you'll see it as a VSL, you'll see it as a long-form sales letter, you might see it as a book-a-log, right? You'll see it in different formats. This idea that if you take a marketing campaign that's not working as a webinar and you turn it into a VSL thinking that it's gonna work, you're kidding yourself. Because the answer is not in changing the marketing model. The answer is making sure that you've got the underlying principles in place. And so what I'm gonna share with you now can be layered on the back of, underneath of, any marketing model. We've used them all. We've used them all, and these principles still apply. Does that make sense? All right, the first of 8 sequences that we use. Now, some of these sequences that I'm going to share with you, there's a variety of different ways that you can use this. Some of these sequences are very simple to use if you're using a 2-step model, meaning you're generating an opt-in first, like you're generating a lead, you're offering a lead magnet, a free report, or something like that. And then some of these are more appropriate for straight to VSL or straight to marketing and sales piece. The first sequence is called the initial segmentation sequence. And this is really my buddy Ryan Levesque. Some of you might know Ryan. He's the author of Ask, the creator of the Ask method, super smart, super sharp kid. He tried to convince me for months and months and months to do this. And initial segmentation is just this. It's about taking prospects and putting them into different buckets. It's really immediately segmenting as they come into your marketing campaign. Right? Immediately segmenting as they come into your marketing campaign. Now, this is an example of one of our campaigns where we were generating leads first. We were getting the opt-in, right? When they hit the opt-in page, they pressed opt-in, this bad boy popped up, they choose one of the radio buttons here, they press continue, and then they enter their email address. If you're not doing two-step, you can still do this type of segmentation because today, with technology, you have the ability to segment based on a link click. Right? Like the tool that we use is Infusionsoft, but today there are so many different tools that do everything, and I've used Infusionsoft for over a decade. There's ActiveCampaign, there's Drip, there's Entreport, there's so many different providers today that allow you to segment and tag and slice and dice based on actions that somebody takes or actions that they don't take. Right? And so why do we want to do this? Why do we want to segment and segment as early in the process? So really quick, let me just go back because I want to make sure that everybody understands. So if you're not doing two-step like this, you could actually do this with your house list. You could send out an email and you could have one of two links. You could have one, they can click one of three links, and based on the link that they click, that tags them and puts them into a particular segment or bucket, right? Identifying, telling you who they are. So it doesn't have to be done on the front end when they're coming into a campaign. Well, what's the benefit of doing this? Benefit of doing this should be crystal clear, that it allows us to then follow up with them based on their segment, right? You know that today people want specialized information, specialized products. People will pay more money for specialized information, specialized services, specialized products than they will for general products. It's why a cardiologist makes a heck of a lot more money than a general doctor. It's why a Mercedes mechanic gets paid a heck of a lot more than a Goodyear mechanic, because people value specialized information. And the more that you can demonstrate that your campaign is specifically for their needs, addresses their core hot buttons, the better your message is going to resonate with them. And we kept it ultra simple on the front in that based on the radio button, we simply customized the first email. So in this case, you see, if we go back for 1 second, you could see that the third bullet says, I'm generating consistent sales and want to scale my business. This is a screenshot of the email, the first email that goes out to that segment. And you could see how it says, if you're ready to scale your business big and fast, you're going to love this. One or two tweaks to the email to customize it for the segment based on what it is that these individuals want. The emails that went out for the other segments were customized for those segments, just like that one line. I'm not telling you to just say that this is perfect for you if you're ready to scale your business or whatever it is that you're marketing and selling. Obviously, it has to be, but you don't want to present a one-size-fits-all message. You want to present what gives the prospect the feeling that this is perfectly for me. This is an example of if you want to take it up a notch. This is my buddy Jeff Walker. How many of you know Jeff? So Jeff is a wizard when it comes to product launches. Jeff took it to the next level, and what Jeff did was, based on the bucket that you went in to, you immediately got taken to the video, and there was a 60-second video bumper. You couldn't really tell. It was almost seamless. But there was a 60-second video clip of Jeff talking about you in that particular bucket, addressing your exact concern, your exact desire, and really pre-framing the entire campaign as if this is perfect for you. And the bucket triggered the appropriate bumper video, and then it went into the main video. Right? So the main video, the main message remained the same. Nothing changed there. But this little pre-framing that this is for you has enormous power. You can do this on the front. You can do this with your house list.
You know what's even better than listening to a conversation with people who are leading the industry in marketing and copywriting? Having conversations with them and being surrounded by like all the best ones, all the coolest people. It happens once a year at Copy Chief Live. In 2019, the dates are October 28, 29, and then the special Freelancers Only Day on October 30th. If you'd like to join us, we'd love to have you. Copychief.live, copychief.live. Come check out the speaker lineup,
and how you can get in on $500,000 in new contracts between clients and copywriters at this event. Copychief.live.
The second sequence is what we call behavioral triggered consumption sequence. This is something that we've been doing for years, and this is a game changer, has been a game changer in our business for a long time. What this is about is following up with prospects based on how they're consuming your marketing message, based on what it is that they're doing and not doing. Let me take a step back for 1 second. So a few minutes ago, I shared with you that everything that you do and say and show and present in your marketing, in your VSL, in your long-form sales letter, in your multi-part video series, in your webinar, everything that you do and say and show and present is in there for one reason: to further the sale, to establish the thesis, right? Establishing the thesis is kind of furthering the sale. And so if you've got multiple pieces to a marketing campaign, let's just say for the heck of it, you've got a multi-part video sequence. It's the easiest way to explain this. You've got 4 videos, 3 content, education-based marketing content, and then you've got a 4th video that presents the offer, right? Well, that means that every one of those 3 videos, right, is doing a job, is there for a reason, is there for a purpose. I don't want anybody to skip one of those pieces. I don't want to let somebody arbitrarily bypass the second video if I send out an email to them and they don't click to go watch that video. My job when I put together a marketing campaign is to present a complete message where everything is critical. And then when it comes to follow-up, my job, my role is to get maximum consumption of that whole thing. Because the more of that marketing message that is consumed, the higher your conversion rate is going to be. And so the way we do that is with behavioral triggered consumption sequences. And this should be in place of a single linear autoresponder. For those of you that have been around a long time, right, there's this, you opt in and then everybody gets the same emails over the same period of time at the same intervals, regardless of what they do, regardless of what they say, right, regardless of what they click on, everybody gets the same exact email path. That would be like a salesperson standing in front of somebody giving presentations, and regardless of what the person says or does, they just say the same thing, right? That's the equivalent of that. And so we replace that. Now we follow up, we engage, we nudge them on based on what they consume and what they don't consume. This is an example of a portion of one of our campaigns. Looks a lot scarier than what it really is. What I want to show you is this. This is a screenshot from one of our campaigns for a 4-part video sequence. Now, when somebody opts in, and pay attention to this, when somebody opts in to the video sequence, they get an email for video 1. That's this first sequence over here. Now, if they click on the link in that email and they go watch the video, and we could even talk about monitoring video consumption, meaning if you have a single VSL, you could follow up with somebody if they only watch the first 5 minutes of the video, if they watch 10 minutes of the video, do they get to the offer, do they not? But in this case, in this campaign, we're just using a click. We send out an email, here's video 1, do they click on the link to go watch video 1? If the answer is no, they don't click the link to go watch video 1, why would I send them tomorrow an email about video 2? They haven't even consumed video 1 yet. Why would I arbitrarily move them to the next step? It makes no sense. So what we do for the person who doesn't click and doesn't engage is we send another email the next day with a different hook, a different angle, a different benefit, a different reason for going and watching the video. If they click at that point, let's say, on that, and they do go watch based on that second email, we then move them into the next sequence. And now the next day, they're going to get an email about video 2. Let's say they click on that email to go watch video 2. They get removed from that sequence. They will not get another email about video 2. And now they get put into the video 3 sequence. Now let's say we send them an email about video 3, they don't click. The next day, we send them another email about video 3 with a different hook, a different benefit, a different angle. Let's say they don't click. The next day, we send them another email. Every one of those mini sequences has 3 emails in it. You can see that if somebody clicks on one of them, they'll be moved to the next sequence. If they don't click, they'll automatically then at some point we're going to move them on in the sequence. But if they click on that, they go into the next sequence. And so some people go through this campaign in hours, which I'll explain to you in a second. Some people go through this over the course of 4 days, some 14 days, some 9 days. It's all based on their engagement with the campaign. And it maximizes consumption of the marketing message that's designed to set up the sale. So when you do this, your conversions go up. One of the things that we added in that took this to a whole nother level is at the end of video 1, a little button pops up. And it says, click here to continue to video 2. And so if they click that button, they will never receive another email. They won't even receive, they'll never receive an email about video 1. They won't even receive an email about video 2, because you could see that thing with the hand raised over there, that little thing. That says the person clicked the button and went to video 2. If they watch video 2, at the end of video 2, a little button pops up. This isn't magic, right? We have the button timed based on the video. Like this is not crazy, complex stuff. They click that button, boom, they get taken, they'll never get an email now about video 3, right? And then they go to video 4. If they buy, right, on the spot, meaning they just watch video 1, they're hyper engaged, video 2, video 3, video 4, buy, boom, that person bought same day, that person got 1 email about video 1, and that's it. It's following up with them based on what it is that they are doing and not doing. We do the same thing. We treat retargeting almost like another email sequence. So we'll follow up with people based on consumption. That means, let's go back. This is a bad example of this. It's not attached to the one that I just showed you. But let's say in that campaign, we would have somebody being retargeted to go watch video 2. Once they go watch video 2, we're going to retarget them to go watch video 3. Once they watch video 3, we're going to retarget, and that automatically will move. It automatically moves them in the retargeting. So you set it up once, and then the retargeting will move them through the same sequence. You've got email and you've got retargeting that's moving them through the sequence, maximizing consumption and maximizing your sales. What we also do in terms of behavior is, so let's say we send them to, in the campaign that I just showed you for the 4-part video sequence, let's say we send them to a lead capture page. We send them from a Facebook ad or something, and they don't opt in. They do not give us their email address. We drop them into the very first retargeting sequence, which sends them back to a reverse lead gen page, meaning where we just give them the first video. And then at the end of the first video, they're given the opportunity to opt in and get the rest of the series. We're following up with them based on what it is that they're doing or not doing. The next sequence is what's called an offer intensification sequence. And this happens after they've seen your sales message, after they've seen the offer, and if they haven't bought. We put them into an offer intensification sequence. What this is just intensifying the offer. It's sweetening the offer. Now here's where we pull back in the power of initial segmentation. See how it says watched video 4, and then it goes into intensification. There's 3 intensifications there. Well, in this example, this is moving further along on the campaign that I showed you. We'll take those 3 buckets, we'll take the people from bucket 1, and we'll put them into offer intensification sequence number 1. We'll take the people from bucket number 2 and put them in offer intensification sequence number 2. People from bucket 3, put them in offer intensification sequence number 3. What's in those sequences? Keep it real simple, is we have customized bonuses that we add to the offer based on the bucket that they're in. So in this example, you could see we actually created 3 different bonuses specifically for the 3 different segments. Now let me just say this, let me take a step back for 1 second. Everybody gets all 3 of these. If they buy and they log in, they get all 3 of these. But for bucket number 1, first email says, this is perfect for you if you have a sales funnel set up right now that's not producing significant or any sales. This bonus, it says, and it's perfect for you if you're just getting started online, a different bucket. This one says, and it's perfect for you if you're ready to scale your business big. Bonuses that are specific and tailored to the segment. We're intensifying the offer. We're giving them another reason to buy. The next sequence, sequence number 4, is what's called, or what we call an urgency sequence, or we sometimes simply refer to it as a countdown sequence. I'll tell you today, what is amazing to me is that if you run a promotion, if you run a 4-day promotion, a 5-day promotion, a 1-week promotion, if you run a launch, or you set up an evergreen campaign that functions like a launch, an insane percentage of sales will come on the last day. Today, it's like referred to as the hockey stick. And it's amazing how that works, right? It's crazy how we just procrastinate until the last minute, right? And when you leverage that urgency at the end of your campaign, how it just spikes sales. We introduce urgency the last 24 hours. So the last 24 hours of the campaign. And the crazy thing is this, that, so you could see, this is after the intensification. So for people that still haven't bought, if they have not bought, we will trigger the countdown sequence. Everybody goes into the same countdown sequence. The countdown is this. So this is an example of a promotion that did crazy well for us. I just want to show you how intense you can get on the last day with this urgency. This was a screenshot of the top of the email that went out at the beginning of the day, right? So it was today is your chance to never have zero sales again, blah, blah, blah. Registration is closing tonight. Then we had ignore that enrollment is closed. I'll tell you how we did that in a second. This one was an 8-hour reminder. Same day, now there's only 8 hours left. This one, heads up, there's only 4 hours left. This one, there's only 59 minutes left. Every single email that went out produced more sales. It was insane, right? In this particular promotion, David Pereira, who is one of the leaders on my team at Marketing Funnel Automation, the whole team was up at like 3 a.m. because we expire all of our stuff, especially when we do a big launch, but all of our stuff expires Pacific time so that we get that extra 3 hours. And it was nuts. In the last 6 hours, 3 hours, it was crazy. And so don't be afraid to mail more on the last day. One of the tools that I recommend, or really the tool that I recommend, is from a buddy of mine, Jack Bourne. This is called Deadline Funnel. And the thing that's cool about this is it's a simple tool, simple piece of software that you can use to drop a countdown timer on your web page, drop a countdown timer in the email, have the countdown timer in the email and the web page synced up, so that it's the same thing. And you can even use it evergreen to trigger real deadlines. So you know how there's a lot of marketers out there they'll drop a countdown timer on a page and it's meaningless, right? Like it counts down and it does nothing, and if you refresh the page, it starts over, or like, and it's there for, it triggers but it's people are learning that like you hit refresh. Well, I don't want to do that. I want to maintain integrity in what it is that we do. And so we use Deadline Funnel to what's called hard code the deadline date into somebody's contact. That means when we're running an evergreen campaign, I could send something out to Rory that says, you now have 4 days to get this offer plus this extra bonus. This expires on October 14th, midnight Pacific time, right? And now it will expire on October 14th at midnight. Doesn't matter what device he's on, doesn't matter if he goes on mobile, on his iPad, on a different computer, doesn't matter where he goes. He can clear his cookies, it does not matter. It's hard-coded into his link. Now the next day, if Debbie goes into the campaign, Debbie's will say, hey, congrats, you now have 4 days to get this XYZ offer. It expires on October 15th at midnight. And for Debbie, it does. And it's seamless. Right? So that's all dynamically populated in the email. The countdown timer matches the one on the page. For each person, it serves as a live, real deal urgency, deadline. Next sequence. So transaction maximization. So everybody in here knows and understands that on the front end, when you're acquiring customers, the higher your transaction amount is, the greater your average cart value is, the more money that you can spend or invest to buy customers. Right? We're really in the business of buying customers. We are investors that invest in the acquisition of customers, right? And there's a certain amount of money, a maximum allowable acquisition cost that we can afford to spend, right? If you're operating at break even, if there's some of you in here that are operating at break even, meaning you're willing to spend $1,000 to get $1,000 worth of sales of new customers, well, what determines how much you can spend to acquire a customer is your average transaction value, your average cart value. Here, we're always trying to increase our average order value so we can spend more to acquire customers. The name of the game is not to try to spend the least amount. The name of the game is to be able to spend so much more than everybody else. Because if you can spend $300 to acquire a customer and your competitors can only spend $100 to acquire a customer, it's game freaking over. You will dominate. So you want to increase transaction size. We do that with 3 tools. Number one, on the overwhelming majority of our front-end offers, we will use what's called a bump offer. A bump offer is a checkmark offer on the order form. This is when somebody goes to the order form, they have the ability to add something to their order with a click. What you want this to be is extremely high value and low price relative to the thing that they're buying. You want this to be an impulse buy. You don't want this to force them to go back into decision-making mode. And now understand something here. Understand this. And a bump offer done right, man, we've had bump offers that have converted above 50%, meaning half of the people that bought took advantage of the bump offer. Now, if you've got a bump offer that is $20 and you've got a 50% take rate on that, that means you're collecting an additional $10 freaking dollars per sale. You think that that'll help offset your media buying costs? An additional $10 of value per customer from a bump offer, and that's at $20, that's at a 50% conversion. But you want to have a bump offer. You're crazy if you don't on your front end promotions. Like I said, the key is high value, low price relative to the main offer. Impulse buy, not a whole decision-making process again. Next is we differ from the way most folks go about doing an upsell. You know, it's amazing to me how many people, they talk about, you want to use an upsell in your sequence, right? How many of you, yes, show of hands, use an upsell? Well, what gets talked about, what gets presented, at least in the internet marketing community, is you want to do what McDonald's does. And you want to have an upsell that's like 3 times the price of what it is that you just sold. So if you just sold something for $100, you want to do what McDonald's does, and you want to charge, $300 for some upsell. But here's the reality. Where in the freaking real world of commerce do you go, and are you ever offered something that's 3 times the price of what you just bought? Right? You don't go into Apple to buy an iPad. They're not offering you an iMac, right? They're offering you an extended Apple Care. They're offering you a charger. They're offering you a case. Right? You go and you buy a men's suit for $3,000. They're offering you a shirt for $300. They're offering you a belt for $90. They're offering you shoes for $200, right? They're offering you something of value that's a fraction of the cost of what it is that you just bought. And so we found that we get much higher conversion rates when we use what I call a reverse add-on, which is what typically occurs in the real world of commerce. In this example, we have a $397 training that we release annually, all about planning how you're going to scale your business and all the stuff that we do from a marketing perspective. And then we give them the ability to pay for the recordings of an all-day live training where I walked my clients, my highest level clients, through this process. And it's only $97, and the take rate is through the roof. Now, this is important for an info marketer or for a trainer or for a consultant or coach because, number one, there is an inverse relationship between take rate on your upsells and refund rate. Meaning the people that take more upsells, their refund rate is lower. The people that don't take your upsells, we find that the refund rate is higher. I want more people to take advantage of our upsell offers. Also, in the info business, I want more consumption of my stuff. I want people to hear more from me, watch more videos from me, read more from me, because it establishes the bond quicker and allows me to put them into the back end that much quicker. So I want greater consumption. Right? Yes, we want to increase transaction value, but there are other things that we're trying to do here. So number 2, right? Bump offer. Then we've got the reverse add-on. And then what we do, and this is one of those things, this will make you guys all more money immediately. You put this into play. And this is what I call a second chance offer. Second chance offer, brain dead simple. The people that do not take advantage of your add-on offer, your upsell, right? Any of your upsells, right? Your bump offer, 48 hours later, go back to them and give them a second chance to take advantage of the offer. Don't make it just a one-time offer. Give them the ability to take advantage of it. Right? Especially if you're marketing and selling digital products where you're delivering it right away, proving to them that you fulfill on your promises, that when you say you're going to deliver the goods, you do, and they get to see that. Now you come back to them 48 hours later and you give them the ability to take the same offer that you presented them when they were checking out. The beauty of this is do it as a one click. So don't send them back to the order form. Do it as a one click. Watch what happens to your sales just adding this in. Next sequence, 6 of 8, almost. The alarm is about to tick. Should I stop? No. PayPal me at, no, I'm just kidding. Transaction ascension. I promise, Kevin, I'm gonna be quick. Transaction ascension sequence. What this is about is very simple. This is about taking people, for example, that purchase a product on a payment plan and giving them the ability, let's say 5 days, 7 days later, to prepay, to take advantage and pay their thing in full and get the original discount that was offered and get extra bonuses. Meaning that, so for the E5, the program that I was showing you, the campaign that I was showing you earlier, so folks that took the payment plan, first of all, the payment plan, when we present a payment plan at the same time as paid in full, the payment plan always has to have some pain associated with it, meaning that the payment plan adds up to $400 more than if they just pay in full, meaning like you could pay, you could pay it over multiple payments, or you can save $400 and just pay it in full today. Well, what happens is, so a few days later, what we did here was we had a drip-fed training program. After week 1, I sent out an email, I sent out a video, and I basically said, hey, lots of folks, when they enroll in a program and it's their first time with the instructor, with the teacher, they're unsure of whether this person's going to deliver the goods, whether the value is going to be there, and so they take a payment plan. Well, you've had the opportunity to see that I deliver the goods, and so I want to give you a second chance to save $397 by paying the balance. And what I'll do to sweeten the deal even more is I've got some crazy cool bonuses for you, right? Now, just as a side note, all of those bonuses, the paid in people full got. So these people aren't being rewarded with something extra that wasn't also given to the paid in full people. But you're going out and you're giving people an opportunity to say, you know what? Yeah, this is rock solid. Let me upgrade, pay this bad boy. And you're the good guy in this whole thing, because you're the good guy because you're saying like, hey, I want to give you an opportunity to save that $397 from earlier, and I'm also going to throw in some extra cool goodies for you. This is a way to just take your payment, and we know that there are declines, there are failures in payments collected. This is a way to get that money. What we also did was we gave folks the ability to upgrade. So meaning the people that paid in full, the people that we knew had the money, were excited, were serious, we sent them an offer to attend a live version of the training. And what we do is we give them a full credit on what they paid. So if they paid $2,000, just as an example, and the live training is $5,000, we go back to them and we say, hey, some folks like in person, want to work with me and the team and blah, blah, blah over the course of 2 days. And so if you want to do that, here's what I'll do. I'll give you a full $2,000 credit, making the whole online masterclass free for you, and we'll put you into the class, maximizing and ascending transaction value of everybody. Sequence 7 of 8, so we've got 2 more, this and 1 more. This one, offer stacking. So one of the things that we do, very simple, is this, that if I present an offer for $997, let's just say, as an example, and folks don't buy, we go through that whole intensification sequence, we go through the countdown sequence, and they don't buy, I'm not done. I'm gonna go back with a different offer. Right, remember, the product itself is only one piece of the offer. There's a lot more to an offer than just the product, right? There's price, there's terms, there's guarantee, there's bonuses, there's other elements that go into the offer. So I might go back with a $549 at 2 pay. They don't take advantage of that. I might strip out some elements of the offer. We might remove something. We might take out a couple things. We might have a smaller version. So we'll strip out a couple of elements and then we go back with a different version and we offer it at $269 to them. They don't take advantage of that. 3 days later, we may offer them the same thing at 3 payments of $97. They don't take advantage of that. We could strip it down even more. We could give them just an audio version of the product at $69. If they don't take advantage of that, then we could go down. I love to start high and go low rather than starting low and going high, right? That was something that I learned from Jay Abraham early on. Right, the value of setting that positioning high and then going down. When I tell folks, when I tell clients, if you've got a product that's 300, that's 500, that's 800, start with that. And they'll come to me and they'll say, I'm having a difficult time trying to figure out how to create a tripwire. I'm like, why are you trying to create a tripwire? Try to sell the main product. You could always go down and offer the tripwire in the end. To me, This is all part of the same sequence. It's all part of the same campaign. It's all part of the same funnel because we're still talking about the same promise, the same hook, the same benefits, the same transformation, the same payoff. And my job is to maximize the dollars that we collect on the front end so we can afford to pay more to acquire more customers. One of the things that we tried, I'll just throw this out there, for those of you that are based in the US, I had no idea we did this, and this thing collected like 80 grand for us over the course of 2 days or something like that, is PayPal offers this thing, this was insane to me, where if you're selling a product, it's gotta be over 99 bucks, it's gotta be single pay, so it's not a payment plan. Anything over 99 bucks, single pay, PayPal will finance it for 6 months. PayPal will finance it for 6 months. And what that means is that the customer doesn't have to pay anything for 6 months. If they pay the balance within the 6 months, there's 0 interest, so it's better than any credit card. And if they pay it after the 6 months, they can pay it, they can pay it off. So they literally don't have to pay anything for 6 months. And if they pay it right before 6 months, there's 0 interest. And the crazy thing is PayPal pays you up front. So you collect the money today. That 80 grand was in our bank account. Now think about this for 1 second, right? Think about this. This one little offer that it's only for US people. Like I said, it has to be over 99 bucks. It's one payment. But think about that 80 grand, if we were paying 10 bucks a lead and we acquired 8,000 leads, this one offer paid for all of our acquisition costs. This one addition. 80,000 bucks, right? If we acquired 8,000 people at 10 bucks per lead, that's $80,000. We collected $80,000. Boom. And it doesn't get much more irresistible for the customer than this. It takes 10 seconds to qualify. Like, it's crazy. It's nuts. I'm like, why would PayPal do that? Last one, buyer stick and refund reduction sequence. What this is about, what we tend to do, especially when we have shorter guarantee. We typically run with shorter guarantees. We just make them bold, but our guarantees are typically 30 days. And what we do is, we have a whole sequence that's set up for buyers. And the sequence, of course, is designed to resell buyers on the benefits, on the payoff, on the transformation. But what we also do is we include unadvertised bonuses. We tell them up front we tell them in the thank you email, we've got unadvertised bonuses in store for them. And then what we do is we drip out those unadvertised bonuses over the next handful of weeks, bringing them beyond the refund period. And so what we do is we'll tell them, we've got 3 amazing bonuses for you, and the bonuses get better. So the third bonus is the best of all the bonuses, right? And they are. When I say that it's the best, when I say these are good, when I say these are solid, they are. That's what you have to do, right? And then we tell them in a few days, you're gonna get unadvertised bonus number 1, you're gonna love it, it does blah, 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 you're gonna see this benefit from it, right? Keep your eye out. Then we send it, and in that email, we tell them, keep your eye out, we've got 2 more unadvertised bonuses for you. The next one is coming, in 10 days, you're gonna love it, it does LMNOP for you, right? And we're building anticipation and excitement over the delivery of these bonuses. And then they're told, like call it at day 25, hey, in a few days, you're getting your 3rd and final bonus. It's the best of all. It's incredible. Boom. And that bad boy drops on day 32 or 33 or something like that. So you have a stick strategy. You're proactive. It's intentional. And so there are your 8 secret sequences. These are the 8 sequences that when you attach to the core principles of high-level copy, you too can have a world-class funnel. Everybody in this room can have a world-class funnel. Don't get caught in the weeds. Don't get sucked up into the conversations that folks are having online about button color and background color on a web page and what font should I use and all these little things, right? Those are the things that whisper, not the things that scream. Remember, I shared a lot with you. We crammed a lot in, but the thing that I want you to remember what I said at the beginning, and that is, you do what the ordinary does, you get ordinary results. You want extraordinary results, you got to do extraordinary things. And every one of you can do it. Thank you, guys.
Todd Brown, ladies and gentlemen, ready? Hey, you want to be on the inside of all the best converting campaigns in marketing? The latest, greatest copywriting techniques. Find out what's really working today from people out there making it work, doing the testing, getting the results, sharing with you, reverse engineering, great copywriting, plus a whole catalog of trainings to help you do everything from write better story, better email, Facebook ads, YouTube scripts. We got it all for you inside at Copy Chief. Go check out copychief.com/join to learn how to become a member. And if you'd like my free book, The 60-Second Sales Hook, where I turned a joke formula into an irresistible sales hook that you can deliver in under 60 seconds, go to 60secondsaleshook.com and grab yourself a free copy.